I tried to say I didn't understand, that the activist had language I knew not. The organizers, the organizers used facilities that I had not. The campaigners had intel I did not. Friend, I almost believed myself. We claimed we didn't know enough history to do the right thing. I ignored my intuition. I tried to talk fair. I turned off my heart. It was a massacre. We met up for lunch and didn't talk about it. We tuned out the breaking truths of the day. Families were gone. Blood, blood. They fed us some lies. We ate, ate. That was Poem of the Time by Yersa Daly Ward. Okay, welcome to the show, Work in Progress, with Abdullah Adekola. I've got Edek Thompson with me. Edek, how do you say your name properly? And can you tell me a bit about yourself, please?
So yeah, I mean this name was a given name, a nickname that I was given in Poland about 20 years ago, and it's Edek.
Edek. Okay,
Edek.
nice one.
It's a short version of Edek Sifabiki Kredek, which is Ed from the Crayon Factory.
Okay, that's cool. So you're originally from Poland. Can you
No,
tell me? Oh, you're not.
no, I'm from Scarborough. I was
You're
just
from
given that
Scarborough.
nickname in
Oh,
Poland.
okay. Okay,
Yeah,
fair
yeah. It's
enough.
on like I was on this volunteer project,
Mm,
and we're in an abandoned school, and
mm,
we're turning it into a home for disenfranchised kids, like a holiday
mm,
home.
mm,
And part of that process was kind of doing loads of frescoes and mosaics everywhere.
mm.
And yeah, the locals nicknamed me Ed from the Crayon Factory because of
Ed
my
from the Crown
drawings
Factory. Oh, nice,
and
fantastic.
what I was doing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So are you quite So are you quite kind of like handy, quite creative, you're like obviously kind of into trying to support and build community, like physically and
Mm.
literally by the sound of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, my art practice itself is
Mm,
kind of painting, drawing, like making great big pictures like these things behind me, but
mm,
they they take elements from all over. I'm not like I never learned how to paint, so I
mm,
just kind of use paint in a way that I don't know
yeah,
pleases me, I guess. But then there's
yeah,
kind of elements of all sorts of scrap materials and found materials in there. But
mm,
yeah, in terms of kind of community stuff as well, like I'm quite deeply embedded in the Hyde Park community now,
mm,
and
nice.
and like working in the Armley community and have done all sorts of kind of work in adult social care, kids,
Yeah,
like special education with special educational needs, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Nice, nice. Some things we've got some things in common. And I think we were saying before we started recording how we not met, but yeah. So I myself, I might as well. So I myself, I'll read my bio. Abdullah Adekola, he, him, a black British working class writer and performer. He's interested in decolonization, alternative and healthy approaches to masculinity and mental health recovery. His breakthrough collection of poetry, Nigrescence, is out now on adekola.bigcartel.com. And I'm on Instagram at Adekola Poetry. Um, I've also worked in adult social care.
yeah,
I work in mental health now, and it's something I'm very passionate about. Something that kind of fits nicely with like my creativity, like and expression. Because I think if you look at one of the five ways to well-being, I think being mindful is a part
mm,
of it. Expressing yourself, and especially and with poetry, especially kind of with the way I write in general and poetry in specific, I try to yeah, like reflect what's going on inside, maybe a bit like journal some of it. Sometimes I'll journal just for myself, sometimes I'll process something through poetry. So yeah, so I'm really and yeah, I think that if you write one poem, you're a poet, and art has like a social function, and it can have a social good. I mean, I don't know that I truly believe that. Yeah, like poetry or art can save the world or something like that. But I think it's a very important and necessary part, and of being human, and it can really influence people, influence culture, bring out emotion and things like that. And so yeah, so I try and yeah so I try and and so yeah, so obviously the kind of work that I do, it can't be too incongruous with
Yeah.
my poetry and creativity, but that's just me.
No,
I don't know if
I'm
everyone else feels
entirely
that way.
with you on that. So my paintings, like my artworks, generally look really bright and beautiful and colourful, and like people's initial reaction is often to laugh, but like they are like a documentation of climate change, of catastrophe that we're walking into. The titles often give that away. I've got pieces behind me like Join My War Team, which is kind of about the fight for resources when everything's gone. Often my works are called Preparations for a Lifetime Underwater, and it's a picture of a sausage dog with duck feet. So initially there's kind of laughter and fun, but then a realization that like I'm documenting the everyday, the things that are around us that are ubiquitous, pigeons, crows, and stuff like that, that one day will be gone or misremembered. But then they're also like a way of, for me, managing anxieties. And like when I started like really seriously kind of working on this theme like a few years ago, it became a way of kind of, it became something of a mental health journey for myself, and a way of kind of really dealing with anxiety and really kind of allowing myself to be within that. And then my brother died a year, it's going on for 2 years now, 2 years ago. And like the grief was like something that I'd not known. And like the depth of sadness was like a whole new feeling to me. I'd lost people before, but kind of never like that. And I I withdrew into the studio, and I, I'd, I was trying to find a way to process and trying to find a way to kind of understand the emotion, and kind of that coupled with I suffer from chronic pain, and I'm often quite, as a result of that, like I'm not able to go out and do things and like be with friends and be with people. Um, and that led to a lot of kind of isolation and loneliness, and that coupled with grief kind of was a really difficult, really like trying time. And I started drawing. I do lots of mighty horses, and my mighty horses are pigeons with dogs' bodies. I've been drawing them for a while as something that kind of makes me laugh and makes me happy. I've got a couple that I drew kind of during the time of mourning, and the word friend comes from dog memes, and it's because dogs, they can't spell properly, so they use the word friend instead of friend. And there's these kind of mighty horses looking a lot less mighty and kind of asking about friendship. And like through these drawings, I started talking about my mental health, talking about my anxieties, talking about grief. This was the first crow that I was able to draw. It was my brother's favorite bird. So after he died, it's the first one I was able to do. And like through doing these, yeah, like I started talking to people. I started making connections again, and that kind of led to me starting Edek's Doodle Chat, which I'm shamelessly plugging there. Which
No, no, no. Plug away, please.
I'm going to plug away, which are social groups for adults who may be isolated, who may be feeling loneliness, who may need some level of mental health support that can be reached through peer-to-peer support, through the action of creating in parallel to somebody else, the action of just being in a room with other people without pressure to talk about your emotions, without pressure to make like a specific piece of artwork. I run them as drop-in social groups. You can come in for 10 minutes, do a bit of colouring in if that's what you want. If you've got some plasticine that you brought along, a bit of embroidery, whatever kind of creative thing you want to explore or do, you just bring it along, sit with us for a bit and go. And what I'm finding is that people are now staying for hours, that people are exploring creativity, people that have never drawn before, that have never kind of done anything creative before, or did when they were kids and they like decided that they need time to do it, coming and staying for hours and kind of getting back into that idea of doing something mindful for themselves, that idea of like how a senseless kind of directionless doodle can be, you know, a really nice exercise to kind of take you out of life for a couple of hours. But they're also making connections within the group, and people are talking, and more importantly, the people that aren't talking are listening. And like I'm hearing, you know, people talk about traumas that they've held on to for years, just to other people that are there, and it's beautiful. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. No, thanks. Thanks, Edek. I think so much there to touch upon. I think just starting off with being the self-taught. I mean, I say I'm a my I'm an artist. I'm a creative. My main medium is poetry.
Mm.
Okay. So I'm a poet. I'm happy to say that. But yeah, completely self-taught as well. Obviously, always liked reading as a kid. Always liked reading as a kid. Fell away from it when university came and you had to
Yeah.
kind of study for academics and whatnot. And I did sciences at my first degree, and then but kind of had to make a conscious decision around 2015 that I need to do more things I enjoy. I need to express myself more. Some things
Yeah.
just not. I need to change. I need to make a change. I was had just really struggled in my first degree academically and also emotionally with mental health. Like not knowing what I wanted to do, not enjoying what I was currently doing, and all and stuff like that. Um, and um, and yeah, and so yeah, I just kind of I need to make a change, and then kind of fell into poetry, going to spoken word and open mic nights, and I thought, oh yeah, well this seems like quite a low barrier to entry in terms of all you really need is a pen, a pad, a
Yeah.
phone maybe, take part. And yeah, and it was quite. I had a positive experience, quite well. And I watched for the first couple of times. Um, when I got myself on stage, kind of like warm reception, and then just yeah, I enjoyed it, and I just kept at it, and yeah, and I think the and of course yeah, it's one of the best decisions I've made in terms of just
Mm.
from my life in terms of increasing my confidence, meeting people, meeting other creatives, writers,
Yeah.
artists, videographers, actors, theatre makers, and so on. And then, and yeah, so yeah, yeah, I'm still enjoying it, still doing it, and yeah, and just yeah, I don't see myself stopping. But yeah, I think if I tell people that if you do one poem, you're a poet. But
Yeah.
but the more you do it, the more you're gonna get out of it. Do you know what I mean? And so, and then what you want to get out of it, that and what you that depends on you and how far. Do you know what I mean? Some people, right now, creativity is a part, a hobby, it's a passion. I do want to make it my full time job someday.
Mm.
I'm also nervous of that because I'm like, well, do I have enough to say? I don't want to. I can't milk my own. I don't think I've got. Want to or able to milk my own experiences and of and live off that. But yeah, so obviously I'm developing other skills and and practicing other skills like working in mental health or
Yeah.
mentoring, etc. So yeah, but yeah, long term I want to I want to make that my full time job. And And then, yeah, I just kind of and I think what helped me, I took to it. I took to it with a because it really was that thing of like making that connection. You know, you're able to sit in silence and hear other people's stories that you might know someone or be in class or be friends with them for years, and you never get to like know about grief and loss, like you've talked about. You never get to talk about yeah, like, struggles or anxiety or pain. Everyone's just kind of passing each other by and just keeping it surface. But I mean, not to say that you have to do this or that this is the right or best thing to do, but sometimes for me, as someone who's very inquisitive, who likes to learn, I like to I definitely like to I like to be seen and be heard, but I
Mm.
also like to, obviously, everyone's got a story. I like to see and hear other people's story, and then there's almost always something that you can connect with
Yeah.
someone else when they tell their story that you can connect with. So yeah, so I, as someone like that who just like to people watch, like to connect with people, just poetry was just it was just yeah, it just fit together really well, and yeah, and as it were. Obviously, you only get a snapshot, but I think in terms of my development, my potential, my social development, my kind of yeah, yeah, it's just been priceless, and then and it's yeah, it's like kind of like led me down a kind of a path in life where I've met, like I said, amazing people, had amazing experiences, developing skills, and yeah, and hopefully, like I said, long term, I'd like to kind of be able to make it, be able to do it full time, and be able to
Yeah.
be
I
that's the
made
hope
that
and that's the goal.
decision just over a year ago to kind of stop working in jobs that weren't art, and
Right.
yeah, to like try to be a full time artist.
Mm.
Um, I'm still doing bits of part time work, labouring, that kind of
Okay.
thing,
It's very
sign
hands
fitting
on.
to make ends meet. But um, yeah, but I've been like, I mean, I was about to say I've been really lucky, but I worked really hard
Mm.
to like win funding for my social groups and
Right.
to get my work seen, and like
Mm.
I have to go out and talk to people a lot. There's, I feel like a lot of people kind of think Instagram is going to be the thing that makes you, but it's I've made very few connections through social media. Like every exhibition I've won is through going out into communities, talking to people in those communities, and being part of real life.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, like still now, like after a year or so of kind of working full time as an artist, trying to be in the studio as much as possible, like I'm still, having to pick up bits of part time work here and there.
Yeah.
It's a long journey,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Good for you. No, let's speak on that because I love that spirit of like you know you have to like put yourself out there,
Mm,
and also like build, put yourself out there, build alliances, build community, kind of be
yeah,
engaged, and let's talk about that in terms of um yeah, let's talk about that because I think, like you said, I like social media. I'm probably an Instagram addict, but I knew from my events organizing, when I'm putting on events, I know that you know like say 1,000 people might have seen the event post on social
yeah,
media. Maybe 100 people might have liked it,
mm,
but it doesn't equate to not one person coming to the event necessarily.
absolutely.
Okay, so it's people come off the strength of word of mouth, recommendations, different things, like your reputation in terms of being consistent with events and having a good quality event, etc. So yeah, so I really agree with that in terms of that, and it's just, yeah, very important to kind of obviously have it as a tool and whatnot, but yeah, like you need to kind of beat the pavement and
Mm,
beat the pavement, keep those contacts up, follow up on and things like
yeah,
that, and yeah, and to I mean, yeah, like and also in terms of funding and things like that, it's just yeah, like you have to get your numbers up and just don't take it personal. If you don't
No,
get
no.
if you don't get the
I'm in the
funding, just
habit of like if I get a rejection, I just delete it immediately from my
yeah,
emails and like
yeah,
try and move on. Like there's
yeah.
for every bit of funding that's been won
There's
to like fund a
nine that
project. Oh man,
you
there's so many rejections.
yeah, yeah,
There's so much kind of
absolutely.
learning application speak
Mm,
and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like, or reading between the lines of a funding application brief because
yes,
often there's a very clear idea of what that funding body wants, what that gallery wants, what that venue wants that
mm,
isn't just written down in
yeah,
that brief.
yeah,
And yeah. So like, don't try and do it on your own. Like, find people that know about it, that have got experience in that.
mm,
Join organizations, join networks. Like, have people help you with your funding applications and stuff like that as well. Like, I think is incredibly important.
yeah. I agree. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. It's a skill. I think it's a skill in itself. I think they don't tell artists that. Oh yeah, yeah. Obviously, you need to work as hard as you can on your art, be consistent.
Mm.
But also, there's this other set of skills that you either need to tap into, you need to develop some for yourself, or some you'll need to get help from, which is the management side of artistry. Uh, uh, planning for yourself in terms of for the year, for the next few years. Where you need to be. Like how to write funding articles, how to all these kind of sorry, funding applications, all these kind of things. And it is a whole of a set of skills, and it's sometimes you know opposite to the skill, the natural skills of expressing yourself and
Yeah,
whatnot. But it's needed to, if you want to make
yeah.
any
Because
if you want to
I mean, like
sustain any book.
as somebody that's making like two-dimensional visual art, I would love to be in the studio, make art, and then sell the art.
Mm,
But like, I very rarely sell anything. like,
mm,
and the reason that I'm able to kind of live and afford things now is through winning funding applications that are paying for me to work in
mm,
community arts and social groups, not through actual like sales of paintings and stuff like that. That's
yeah,
a dream. I mean, one
yeah,
day. But then
yeah,
also like the funding application side of things means that I'm not worrying when I'm in the studio, that like I'm not worrying about making commercial art.
yeah,
I'm making art that is, for me,
yeah,
which again leads to that like problem of not being able to sell it.
yeah,
But at the
yeah.
same time,
That's
like my art is true. It's just me
yeah,
expressing the things that I need to express and work through.
yeah. It's important. I always say, you're the first audience, and you're the first audience, the most important
Mm.
audience, and also a big the first critic as well. So it has to you know it's a I think it's not helpful to kind of make it in intention of like make art with intention of okay, um yeah, this is what I think people will like, this is what I think so I think it's going to be commercial because
Yeah,
you know it's what if they don't, and then you maybe what if you lose the touch of like okay, what do I like, what's unique about
mm.
my life experience, my set of perspectives, this me in this place and this time, that that people might want and need.
Yeah,
But if I just kind of do what is trending or what I think people want, then it's like, and then on top of that, if it doesn't connect, then it's yeah, it can be very
and
heartbreaking.
I've tried to do that in the past. Like I've
Yeah,
tried
I'm
to
sure we
paint the
all are.
picture, and like, yeah, it doesn't work. Like I can't
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
no, I hear you. Okay, but let's talk about some. So yeah, like very embedded in the High Park kind of community.
mm,
Obviously, I connected with you through like working class creatives. So
yeah.
just tell me about some of the kind of networks and kind of creatives that the kind of the networks that you're part of, and why and how did you kind of did
Yeah,
you get
so I
involved with
mean,
that?
like in Hyde Park, work a lot at Left Bank. So Left Bank is a really amazing community centre. They're hugely supportive of creatives in Leeds. So anybody making art that is kind of able to share, run workshops, that kind of thing, like they're passionate about that, passionate about community. So like I know them by going there repeatedly, meeting them and talking to them. I was kind of lucky enough to know the director through my work in sign makers. Um, I moved back. There's the whole long story will suddenly come up. I moved back to the UK in 2020 after living abroad with my partner um, for a while. But and yeah, I went straight to working for sign makers and met the director of Left Bank through making signs for Left Bank, and then eventually we, talked more. They learned about my art and kind of started supporting me to do workshops. And I did an exhibition there last February, and then have kind of done other. I did a really nice project with them with owls, the older, wiser local seniors, and so I did like 7 weeks of work with that group, turned that into an exhibition at Left Bank as well. But yeah, like I know them by going and meeting them through the exhibition in February. I met the High Rise Project, who another CIC that work in Armley. Kind of predominantly, they started in lockdown working with people in high rises, so working with people in social housing and kind of bringing art to them. We've now got a space in Armley Library that I run on a Tuesday afternoon, running Edek's Doodle Chat, so running the social groups there. And yeah, we're kind of hoping to be able to expand that project more, reach more people. Um, but I also like started creating my own network. So when I moved back to the UK, like I already had in my mind that I didn't really want to work for anyone else. Um, my partner and I finished a massive project in Kyrgyzstan. We worked with a local charity in Kyrgyzstan, um, and we started the first school for kids with autism in the country. And like I felt like I'd done the big work after that, and I could, you know, concentrate on myself for a bit and concentrate on like being an artist. But obviously, like you need money to live. So we moved back to the UK, and I had to go and like work full time. But like at that sign makers that I was working at, like I decided, I had in mind that I wanted to be an artist. So like I knew a few artists, local people, and we got together and decided to turn the sign makers shop into an exhibition space for a weekend. And we did that, and I called it Art Show. And then, kind of through connections through the sign makers again, I found a space in the Corn Exchange. We ended up bringing about 15 artists in, and we just filled the space with art for a couple of weeks. All of the artists helped run the space, and we called it Art Show Leeds. And kind of as other artists, other creatives were coming in, they were like, "How do I get involved in this?" I was like, "Do you want to be involved in it?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Right, you're involved." And we just cut out like any difficulty with being involved in an artist network. So like Art Show it's an idea. It's a WhatsApp group. I've got about 70 people in the WhatsApp group, and like I've tried to continue doing it, but kind of running that voluntarily, finding spaces, organizing the artist, doing all of that stuff is quite a lot. But yeah, kind of like just building networks. Like so, joining Working Class Creators database is another way of adding to that network. Working with the High Rise project is another way of kind of adding to that network. I had an exhibition at the end of this year in Redcar, in a place called Redcar Palace for Tees Valley Arts, and like through that I got paid an artist fee, and that has enabled me to take a studio at Assembly House for the foreseeable future. I don't, you know, I still need to kind of find more funding for that in the future, but that's added to the network as well. But it's all through, again, just that idea of kind of going out into your local community. I live in Hyde Park behind Left Bank, so repeatedly visiting Left Bank means that I get to know them, they get to know my face, and you know, now they're giving me space to run the doodle chats in there. And yeah, that was a long rambling answer.
No, that's fab. This is that's the part, and that's fantastic. A couple of things. So it sounds like you've had done a lot of work internationally. You talked about Poland, talked about Kyrgyzstan, and living abroad as well. What kind of drew you to kind of you know going abroad for work, and what did you think you got
Yeah,
out of
so I
it?
mean the Poland thing, that was, like I say, it's like 20 odd years ago, and
Mm,
that was just a chance
mm,
encounter, I think. And I can't remember how I got onto the project, but it was with Oblong, they actually run Woodhouse Community Centre in Hyde Park, and yeah, that kind of just happened. We ended up in Poland for, I can't even remember how long it was, a month or so. But yeah, like the Kyrgyzstan project. So I met my partner when we were working together in London. We were working for a school in the sixth form, kids with autism, for Ambitious About Autism. And like my partner had already decided that she was going to go off and travel for a while. But then, yeah, I came on the scene, and we decided that we could travel together, and that would be nice. We moved back from London to Leeds in order to save money, and in December 2015, we got a one-way flight to Kazakhstan. In December, to the north of Kazakhstan. I think it was about -30 when we arrived. Like, it's cold and
wow.
snowy and a bit of a shock. Um, yeah, we didn't speak any Kazakh or Russian at the time either. But yeah, we kind of made our way through Kazakhstan and into Uzbekistan and through Uzbekistan and into Kyrgyzstan. By the time we got to Kyrgyzstan, we'd kind of pretty much run out of money, and we'd only been traveling a few months. And we'd both done qualifications to be able to teach English, so we were able to find jobs teaching English in Kyrgyzstan. But then we went to an exhibition, and wait, somebody's coming in now.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, that's right. There might just be some door locking noises and stuff. Yeah, we went to an
Yeah, no
exhibition
worries.
and in like the Central Gallery in Bishkek, and there's all this work there, and we kind of recognised it. We were like, this work's by kids with autism, and we found some information, and it was, the exhibition had been put on by a group of local parents who had set up an organisation, um, and they were all parents of kids with autism, and like they'd set up their own centre and had started doing work there. But because we both had experience working with kids and working with teenagers, we we went to meet them, and we got to know them, and we started doing bits of consultation and kind of teaching English as a way of allowing us to be there and enabling us to be there. Um, but working together with them, we managed to win some funding so that we could be there, and we ended up on like a 3-year project
Oh,
setting
wow.
up a program for teenagers, because that's kind of where our real expertise was, in like working on vocational programs, working on independent living skills, stuff like that. Yeah, and then we ended up there for like 5 years in the end. So like
Wow.
a year or so of kind of volunteering with the organisation, and then 3 years of funding, like being funded to be there. And we kind of, I set up like vocational programs. I worked on a lot on the CPD pathways for the staff as well. So I was working on kind of training programs. We wrote a lot of like bits for the curriculum. I developed a really accessible art curriculum as well. But we ended up kind of reorganizing the entire structure. Um, and COVID happened, lockdown came, and we'd pretty much finished what we were doing by that point, and were able to hand over to kind of local staff that we trained to take on our roles, and then came back to England and
back to England and back to lockdown.
back to lockdown, and then to sign making and sign fitting.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
no,
real crap
that's
back down to earth.
that's fantastic. I mean, I hope you. I mean, that is that's very inspiring. Actually, you know, it sounds very kind of enriching in terms of starting as volunteering, using your skills, work in recognizing that this art was made by young people with autism, and then kind of going from there to kind of having a relationship with the community and kind of
we've got lifelong friends there now. Like we're constantly in touch with like people from like the friends that we made in Kyrgyzstan. Like,
that's fantastic.
always chatting away, like on WhatsApp groups and stuff like that. And we're making plans hopefully this summer to go and meet some of our friends from there.
And then being able to kind of leave hopefully leave make a contribution, and then hopefully, and that's fantastic. Okay, so kind of back to the UK in terms of now. Is there any what you talked about the Edek's doodle chats? What are you kind of what are you working on at the moment? What's kind of maybe an area of maybe difficulty that you're trying to overcome, and what are you kind of planning or working towards?
I mean, at the minute, my plan was to just try and be in the studio for a few months. So I'm doing the doodle chats every Tuesday in Armley and every Wednesday at Left Bank. And I thought I'll have a couple of months of just trying to be in the studio and just trying to work and seeing where that takes me. Like having moved to Assembly House in December, I've now started working on really large scale paintings. They're a couple of meters high, and to kind of make the ones behind me look quite small. And I'd really started kind of a deeper exploration of my own mental health and things that may have contributed to my anxieties and kind of difficulties. So trying to work through that in the paintings. But then other projects have come up. So my Fridays for the next 6 weeks, kind of working on an animation workshop with the High Rise Project. So they're running it and just helping out, and that's working with refugees and asylum seekers at Leeds Uni, and we're making stop motion animations on iPads. So that's happened. I've just filled out a big application for a project that might happen in April or May. So fingers crossed for that. I hadn't planned on doing that. It just came up. And I've got another personal project, which is called Catastrophic Closeness that I'm working on, which is all of the drawings I was showing you earlier of my mighty horses asking to be friends And what I want to do with this project is, as a goodbye to my brother, that one.
Nice.
I want to build what I'm calling a room of overwhelming friendship, which is just covered like floor to ceiling. Maybe the whole ceiling's covered in these drawings of my mighty horses asking if they can be friends. But alongside that, I've already got some poets writing pieces, just taking the title Catastrophic Closeness and the very basic brief of this being a question of, like, do we need these catastrophic, devastating events in our lives to bring us closer, to kind of make us realize the friendships around us, to kind of make us value our connections and that idea. So I'm kind of working on that. Anyone is welcome to join in, any writers and poets that want to write a piece with that title. They just need to get in touch with me and I'll send them the very, very basic brief. But I want it to be a real expression of their work. It's a collaborative project. I don't know how long it's going to take, when it's going to be fully realized, but I'd love to make a publication of all the works that are made. So alongside my drawings, like, there'll be the written pieces. I'd love to create an event at the end of it where I have my room of overwhelming friendship filled with these drawings, and everyone can get up and perform their pieces live. Like, like, I'm planning on building something with this.
Yeah.
I just don't fully know how, when, or where.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic, and yeah, I'm happy to be involved.
Please.
Catastrophic closeness. Yeah, something. Yeah, something. Closeness is something. We're very interested in and trying to understand more, be better at in terms of my interpersonal relationships and things like that. And then and yeah, and of course yeah. So yeah, it seems like very interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy to be involved. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Got a lot. Sounds like you've got a lot of things going on. Some personal, some kind of where you're facilitating and kind of lending your support and expertise, and then also kind so yeah, and also kind of being based in those community groups in Armley and things like that. I do hope to get down to one of the doodle chats, probably the left bank one.
Yeah.
At some point, I've had good experiences in left bank. I've seen a lot of amazing art exhibitions there, performances. Performed there myself at one of the Leeds poetry festivals.
Yeah.
Maybe not the last one, maybe the one before, maybe the one before that. And yeah, and like yeah, so yeah, always and obviously an amazing venue as well. And actually, kind of right now, I'm in talks with a group of other Leeds-based poets and creatives for some kind of event in March. It'll be so it's early stages of that. We're looking at venues, looking at fleshing it out.
Yeah.
Got yeah, so it'll be kind of like a Leeds Palestine solidarity kind of event, with like kind of poets of Palestine or something like that kind of angle. But yeah, so I'll let you know about that once it's fleshed out.
That'd
Well,
be amazing. But
yeah,
like, I think you need to come along to one of these groups on a Wednesday. So as of this week, the 7th of February, I'll be starting the left bank groups at 3 in the afternoon. So they'll be running from 3 till 6, and then I'm gonna pop home, have my tea, and then 7 till 9 back at
Oh
left bank.
wow. Okay, wow. Fair play. Yeah, I have to get down. I have to get down.
And like I say, just like come along. Like, it's called Doodle Chat, but like a doodle can be anything. Like, it's not necessarily drawing with a pencil. Like, it can be words. You can sit, write poetry, write whatever you want. We've got people that are just using colouring in books. I've got a guy that brings like a whole host of materials, paints, plasticine, sewing, like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. No, yeah, that's fantastic. I think um, I really kind of I mean, I think one of the things that so you're based in Hyde Park, right?
Yeah,
Yes. So that's a quite like student area, right? And so what are some of the like pros? But you sound like you're very involved in some in the community kind of space, and you talk like you've moved back from London to Leeds a while
mm,
ago, and you kind of make an effort to get involved in the community. Um, what are so you know I personally think that um Leeds in a bit of a flux. I don't know if it's fully recovered since COVID. And then obviously we had the double whammy of COVID and Brexit. In Brexit, the UK
yeah,
generally, and then COVID as well. And I think that and it's affected some things in Leeds in a very obvious way. For example, last year we had 2023, we had Leeds City Year of Culture. That was
yeah,
originally supposed to be Leeds European City of Culture kind of thing. I think it might have won that. And so yeah, and obviously that couldn't go ahead and people have mixed opinions about Leeds 2023. It was a lot of money was put into it, but
mm,
where's the lasting kind of impact on communities and grassroots and whatnot? And yeah, one of the best events I went to last year was a fashion show, and the name I'll have to get the name up, but it was really kind of yeah, Bo Carter,
yeah,
so, and that was yeah, that Bo Carter ran it. She's Bo Carter Fashion on Instagram, and I think it was a really amazing fashion show. It was around like I think November last year, and it was kind of raising money for charity. It was based on Kirkstall Road at Archive, and
yeah,
it was just really amazing event. I performed. There was like a catwalk. There was there was performers, and all sorts of and it was just I think she does it yearly, and it was just really well put together, well put together and well resourced. And I think it would have just have been nice for her to be more supported by something like Leeds 2023 or
yeah,
Leeds City Council or whatever. But she's someone who's really built a strong community, and yeah, and just kind of, and every year she puts it on, very well attended, very well
amazing.
organized, and very high quality fashion event that has some art involved in as well. And yeah, so I guess what I'm asking is so it's how do you find the state of like art in Leeds, and maybe in just generally? We've talked a little bit about it, to be fair, but also just kind of dealing with students. Do you find that some of them are like here today, gone tomorrow, literally, or like is there like some other, yeah, what are the pros and cons of like of maybe being based in Hyde Park or and
Yeah, I mean, Hyde Park's it's an interesting area. It's kind of like it feels very transient. It feels very empty at times, and I don't know. Like, it definitely feels different to me from like when I first came to Leeds in 2000 and kind of lived in Hyde Park as a student. Working with the community in Left Bank, like the people that come are people that live here full time. It's not necessarily students that are coming to doodle chats. I've got quite a few older residents. I've got people that travel from all over different parts of Leeds to come to it. To be fair, not necessarily that live in Hyde Park. And yeah, I mean, my street that I live on, it's one of the terraces. There's, I think, like four of the houses out of 20 have got people that live in them that have lived here for at least as long as I have. The rest are like they change quite often. So there's a definite. I'd say one of the big cons is that like most of the people that live here don't own the house that they live in.
mm,
Like myself included, we rent. So there's like no real investment in kind of
Mm,
keeping the property nice. Like
mm,
there's because the community is like very transient. There's no getting to know
mm,
your neighbours. Or if you do get to know your neighbours, they leave pretty quickly.
mm,
Um, so yeah, in terms of that sense, there's kind of no real, I'd say, community ownership is
mm,
something that's lacking. Um, and like there's a few projects happening that are kind of trying to work on that. So I've been advising on a project for like Burley Park train station that will engage local community, local kids, local artists. If it happens, like if it wins funding, um, and through that I've got to meet like the local councillor who is very community focused, is very engaged. But yeah, like I mean, on Friday night we just had like a group of kids running down the street trying to kick people's doors in. Like
yeah,
it's
not ideal.
not ideal. No, no. Like it left me anxious for a couple of days. To be fair, he's tried to kick ours in as well. Like when we're in, like not like empty houses or just any house. So I don't know what happened if they actually kick a door in. But like there's that kind of sense of we've got some nice murals on the ends of terraces, and there's a new park being built, but at the same time, like I could show you where the drug dealers are
Mm,
throughout the
yeah.
day and night because like it's that open. Like
Mm,
people, local residents, you know, we're working to build community, but people are scared to go out at night. Like,
mm,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. So,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm feeling a little more down on the place because someone tried to kick my door in the other night,
Yeah.
or
Of course. Yeah.
other days I'm much brighter and much more positive, and
Mm,
I really love living in Hyde Park, especially in the summertime.
yeah.
Maybe it's winter blues.
Yeah. No, that's totally understandable. Yeah. I think one of my early frustrations was with some is that I think I went to an event like a few years ago, quite a lot of years ago,
Mm,
and I think there was it was an art event. It was mainly organized by students, and they were basically just kind of saying that, yeah, like how I interpret it is like once when they came to Leeds, they didn't find any art, they didn't see any people being creative, and so like they were happy to put this event on and whatnot. And I was like, oh, hang on, like there's people. What do you mean? There's people here doing art and making art, and
yeah,
I've been doing, but you kind of need to step out of the. No, they were from London, of course, um, but yeah, and I just kind of raised like, you need to kind of, make those connections and reach out and or at least very least just say, oh, this is what I've done, but not kind of say, oh yeah, there was like nothing happening and no one doing anything, but it's easy to kind of how that attitude can come across because when you're a student, you
mm,
are kind of just confined to that Leeds University LS6 area and whatnot. And it kind of takes a bit of effort to kind of go out and obviously if you are a student, your chances are you're only here for a while. But yeah, no. So I think that's a key thing. And then obviously in terms of infrastructure wise, the city's not very well laid out. Public transport is not good.
yeah.
I've seen that we've got those bikes now, but yeah, I think there's definitely more that needs to be done.
Do you want to ride
And
one of those on the roads though? Like I don't.
yeah, yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, like it's quite. I mean, we've got a small city centre, but
Yeah,
it's quite. But it's like quite hilly. Like to. So there's that side of things, and then also, yeah, it's cool, but it's not anything. It's not anything serious. I'll be honest.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
like walking through town, like I love that all of the empty shop units have been covered with beautiful illustrations,
mm,
and everything looks bright and colourful and lovely. But then you remember they're all just empty shop units.
hmm
Like it's
yeah,
dead. And
yeah,
there is great stuff happening, but yeah, I feel like it's very hard to find it all the time. I often hear about
Yeah.
things after the event.
Yes, that's yeah. That a lot of people have said that to me all through my events organizing journey, and yeah, apart from there was a time when after around 2016, 2018, when I made a conscious effort to like join every Facebook group of open mic things or poetry things in Leeds in the area, going to university things even when I wasn't a student at Leeds Uni, and it took a certain level of like determination and obsession, and I was able to drive as well.
Mm.
If I wasn't able to go to all these things, but it yeah, it's not it's and then obviously I decided, okay, I need to also put on my own because not just so that I can add to the number of things happening, but also but yeah, just because it's just needed. So yeah, I think it is a tricky one just to know what's going on and happen to get involved in it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think
But
it's
I think on that as well, like, I think it's really easy to see all the negatives as
mm,
well. I know, like, we've lost like Tetley, we've lost She Street. There's great places have closed,
mm,
but I think, like, I mentioned in the WhatsApp group the other day, as like, we are that network. Like, don't
mm,
forget about your own place within this. As
mm,
creatives, we're all
mm,
part of that network, and like, it's us together that can kind of rebuild this creative scene, make it
mm.
whatever we want it to be.
Yeah, I agree. That kind of thing of yeah, and back to kind of what we started off with, um yeah, you we have to take some ownership, some level of ownership, and yeah, call out the institutions and organizations when they're
Yeah.
not being supportive, and then also kind of build those networks ourselves in terms of, okay, supporting each other and and just being a positive kind of contributions to the creative scene, because yeah, it's creativity and expression is part of what we do, and part of our lives, and has to be so. And
Yeah.
so yeah, but yeah, I think that's a good point to end on. But yeah, so thanks so much for speaking to me, Edek. Yeah, um, I will. It'll be. I don't know when this will come out, but I'll keep you posted
Yeah, yeah,
and whatnot.
please.
But yeah, have a good rest of the day, and I hope to see you at one of the Edek Studio chats and
Yeah, please do come
at
along.
that.
I'm going to send you over the little brief for the catastrophic closeness as well,
Okay,
because, yeah,
fab,
want
fab.
I want you involved, want everyone
Yeah,
involved.
nice, nice, nice. But yeah, no, fantastic. Have a good rest of the day, and I'll
Thank you.
speak to you
You
soon.
too. Enjoy
Take care.
your Sunday. Take care.
Yeah, nice one. Take care. Bye.